You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. I'm here. Ryan's here. We're barely here.
Barely.
Look, if you're here for Emily Bett Rickards, you're in for a treat. If you have never listened to this podcast, all I ask is if you actually like the interview, stick around. Stick around, subscribe, listen to some others. I think you'll really enjoy it. We get into mental health and talk about adversity and real conversations with people in the entertainment industry. Ryan, we get down and dirty.
You do.
We do. We get real. We keep it real here. So if you haven't given this podcast a chance, all I ask is give it a chance and write a review if you like it. Right? Mm-hmm. At Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, at Inside of You Pod on the Twitter or the X, as the kids say. Yeah, a lot going on before we get into it. So look, if you want to go to any cons, I now am announcing I'm going to Denver with Welling and some of the other Smallville cast members July 4th weekend. So it's going to be a blast. So get your tickets. They'll be on my Instagram on the link tree at the Michael Rosenbaum on the link tree. If not, just go to Denver Comic Con or Fan Expo, I think it is. Nice. Fan X, I believe it is.
Nice.
Well, I'll also be in Cincinnati. I'll be, we're doing a Smallville cruise in June. Get tickets for that. That's selling out. That's going to be a blast. Excursions with the cast. Chicago, Smallville Con this year, and many others. And if you haven't got yourself some Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath on Amazon for your dog's breath, I hope you'll check it out. Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath, just a capful in your dog's water and odorless, tasteless, and your dog's breath is going to be better. I just did it right. Ryan, you saw me do it. You walked in, I was giving my dogs Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath.
They greeted me at the door.
With great breath.
With such fresh breath.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I thank you guys. If you want to get some cool merch, there's tons of merch on the Inside of You online store. Smallville ship keys, Smallville pilot scripts, Smallville Lexmas scripts, shirts, tumblers, tons of stuff. Funko Pops. And a lot of those Funko Pops, man, I don't know if they're my signature that people are selling. So if you want mine, if you want a Funko Lex, there's not many available. But go to my site, Inside of You online store. And I appreciate it. And most importantly, if you want to join Patreon and support this podcast to keep it going. You're the reason why it keeps going. My patrons, patreon.com/insideof you. And, pays for guys like Ryan.
Thanks.
And Bryce and Jason, who is getting married. Big bachelor party, buddy. Jason Nelkin, we love you. Couldn't do this podcast without you. We wish you only the best. Thanks for the invite to the bachelor party. You knew I'd be just boring. I'd be like, yeah, I shouldn't drink. I get anxiety.
I bet he went to the mountains just with like his closest friends.
Yeah. He's such a laid back dude. He makes me feel so comfortable because he's so laid back. He's just like, no matter what, he's like, we could be, nothing could be working. He'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. No big deal.
That's what you want.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, I'll handle it. Yeah, should be good. You sure? Because, yeah, should be good.
Yeah.
Emily Bett Rickards is a treat. She's so smart and talented, and she's got this new movie, Queen of the Ring, and you got to go check it out. But we talk about everything. We talk about early days, the early days. Even, we go way back to a Nickelback video. That's how far we go back.
That was a good pull.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
She's so fun. I wish I wish it was in person, but.
Next time,
Next time, she promised. All right, without further ado, let's do it. Let's get inside of Emily Bett Rickards.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. I am a huge hockey fan. I played hockey my whole life. I'm a diehard New York Rangers fan. You're probably, since you're from BC, you're a Vancouver Canucks fan who they're not having a great year, but they're still on the cusp. They could still make it.
We could always still make it. That's how I feel. As a Canadian who's just, indoctrinated into hockey at a young age, we're always just still going to make it.
Did you play hockey?
No, I didn't. My partner played hockey, like pretty hardcore.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot about that. My cousins grew up playing hockey, and then every person I knew growing up played hockey. My dad played hockey, and yeah. Hockey's just like around.
I mean, hockey's like baseball, football,
Yeah.
basketball in the States. It is. I developed a hockey show that I'm trying to get made right now. So
Cool.
we're getting closer, but it's really cool. But it's very family oriented. But it's
Oh my gosh. Can I read it? Let me read the script.
I'll let you read it. It's a quick read.
love
It's like
reading.
it's a pilot, so it's like they're half hours, so it's like 36 pages. But it's
Oh my gosh, congrats. That's so rad.
yeah, it's great. You should read it actually.
I
Why
want
not?
to read it. I love to read like anything people are making. I'm just so inspired by anybody who makes stuff. So I just like,
Do you
I
see,
love it.
I don't like when people always ask me to read scripts. Hey, can you read this script I just wrote? I have like, it depends where it's at. I mean, if it's like the first draft, I'm like, oh shit, this is going to suck. Just like my scripts in the first draft.
Right. Yeah, I know. I pay people to read them with the first draft, but, but you know what I really love? Like, I think I have a passion for is sort of script consulting in a sense. Like I love other people's stories and like, it kind of lets you see into their brain. And then, you know, when I get notes on stuff, you either take it or leave it, or sometimes you get the note and you're like, oh, can I swear on this podcast? Can we swear?
Oh shit. Yeah. You could swear up a storm.
I like, you know, you get a note sometimes that's like, oh no, fuck that. You don't know what you're talking about. Then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, that note's great. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So sometimes notes are great, sometimes they're not. And sometimes like, you know, just different ideas. I find like, I love the magic of storytelling. I like how things get put together and I like finding little patterns and I don't know. It's a passion.
You know, we
passion.
could swear in the show, but I'm a little surprised that you swore because, you know, Canadians are usually a lot nicer than.
I mean, maybe I don't think swearing. I don't think swearing makes you not nice.
Well, I didn't say it doesn't make you. By the way, it looks like there's smoke or it's a sun glare out there. It's kind of cool.
It's cold today, but it's sunny. It's yeah, we're in Canada.
Are you in BC?
We're in BC, yeah, and we're blessed with today. It's just stunning out. Like,
What's it like growing up as a Canadian? What you know? I mean, you can't really put it in perspective because you don't know what it's like for, you know, someone in the United States to, you know, grow up in Indiana and like, but was it like simple and fun? Did you grow up on a farm? Did you grow up in a neighborhood? Did you like, I mean,
Everyone
I don't
thinks we grew up in like a frozen town, you know.
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in a suburb close to the American border. So I had a lot of American friends growing up as well. Like didn't feel that separate, especially in the 90s. It wasn't as separate as it is now, you know. The border wasn't as intense as it is in the last few decades. But I don't know. I mean, it was a really safe, normal childhood, you know, like suburb, but we live we're a coastal town. So we're really always close to the ocean. It's a part of my soul, part of my DNA. And, you know, always have 4 seasons. I think like that's really important to me. Be close to a body of water, preferably the ocean, super important to me. And like, you have to be close to the woods as well. So that's, I don't know, that was my Canadian experience. I don't know if it's everyone.
It's so weird growing up because, like, you know, I grew up in the Midwest and, you know, just neighborhoods and trees and jumping over people's fences and drinking out of garden hoses and catching fireflies and playing wiffle ball and getting a tick and your dad just taking a match and singeing the thing and it falls off and you're like, oh, I'm fine. Nowadays it's like, oh, you might have Lyme disease. You could like everybody. When I was a kid, it's just like everything's so peaceful and they're like, my parents never cared where I was. It was like, yeah, be home by 10. And I would just be running around doing whatever and they weren't worried. And now, I mean, the world has changed.
Yeah, I think our world's changed drastically. I mean, we have technology to thank for that. You know, we're more connected, but we're also like, we feel like we're more in danger, you know?
Yeah.
But it's similar, you know, you say ticks. I remember like getting ticks out of my cat with like little tweezers and stuff.
Jeez, I know.
Like, oh man.
Did you have was your childhood pretty normal? I mean, because it's funny because I like to hear people's stories because I come from a little dysfunction and, you know, I just like to hear, you know, did you have parents that you were really close with, unconditional love, all that kind of stuff?
I did. I am a product of unconditional love, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
What's that
like?
Put that out into the world. I mean, I think it's privilege, you know, I think it's, but it also, you know, I think if we all somewhere in life decide to give unconditional love to other people, no matter how we got there, as part of our own journey. And I'm just really, I am really grateful towards my parents. Now, they didn't necessarily want me to be an actor, so that wasn't really on the docket. So that was maybe part of my struggle as well. And
wait, they didn't want you to be an actor?
No, I mean, like, they wanted something a little more stable at the time. Now they're very for it, obviously.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
It's a dangerous dream, I guess, to have hope into somewhere that's not a guarantee. And I think that's what they worried about.
Were you seem like, meeting you at a con and just catching your vibe, however brief it was. But there's like a coolness about you that I've never had. But there's just a laid back sort of your own person. You know who you are, and you're a little offbeat in a great way. But like you,
I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go your own way. Have you always been like that? Did your parents always think you were maybe a little introverted, but not? I mean, what were you like growing up?
Yeah, I was always kind of like that. I felt like I was always trying to like catch up in a way, but no one really, I think not fitting anywhere also kind of let you to fit everywhere in a sense. Like I was a little bit of a chameleon. Like I always said like I was good at a lot of things, but I wasn't great at anything. There was like, obviously sports were something that I could really get into, but I was never like leading sports. I was more just a runner in the soccer field, like always benched kind of thing. And, I found myself like fitting into a lot of different groups, but not really finding a home there, if that makes sense.
That's exactly how I was. We could relate on that level because it was like I hung out with the goth kids, the theater group, some of the popular kids. I wouldn't hang out with them, but they would acknowledge me and go, "Oh, hey, what's up, Rosie?" I was like little Rosie, the small kid, but I never really fit into any group. Even to this day, it's like I don't feel like I fit in. Sometimes I go to people's homes and they have little parties, and I always have felt sort of like the outcast or the one person who just doesn't really belong, and that's an insecurity I've always had, and I could cover it up. You would never think that. You think I'm the most positive person and outgoing, but I've lived a lie.
I feel that, and I feel like I can relate to that, especially like I'm speaking from a place now. I think that's changed a little bit, but definitely younger. And although I would say all the way through my 20s, like it really did. Like I have this feeling that comes up when I talk about like I'm just trying to play catch up. Like I'm just trying to see if this works or see if that works. Like where am I going to land? Now I think in those situations, like at a party or something like that, I really feel like I know my own value, and this was potentially like just a place for me to listen and observe. And in which case, like only feeds, I don't know, something I'm looking for, whatever it is, whatever I'm supposed to learn that day, or, the next, what's my journey today? What am I sort of on the cusp of grasping in this life,
Yeah.
But I feel that, and I can really empathize with that. Like it can be an uncomfortable place to be. And I'm also saying like, those are in my best moments. I feel like that those things can still catch up to you because they're like innate wounds, right? Like that can kind of reopen sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're familiar in a sense too. So there's a place in that's also comfortable in an uncomfortable way. Right.
Yeah. I feel like I meet people, whether it's cons or wherever, and I genuinely like them. Like I'm having a good conversation, but in the back of my mind, they're like, "Oh, we should hang out. We should go, get to lunch or this and that." And I know myself so well that I'm like, no, I think in my head, I'm like, this is a nice moment and it's great hanging, and maybe I'll see you again. But I don't, it seems like a lot of energy to always want to go start new relationships, especially when the older you get, you have your set group of friends. So it's very unlikely for me to allow someone new into the group. And
I feel that
because it's life's so time consuming, and you don't want to spend your time with people that you don't necessarily know, or unless you're forced to do so, like maybe on a set or whatever, So it's not that I'm like, I don't want to hang out with these people. It's just like, I know that I'm not going to have time to really do something, most likely.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, am I going to hang out with you half present? Right. Like that just wastes my time and your time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
And And then there's also weighing, you obviously have rich relationships in your life already. So if you're going to spend time with somebody, you're also sacrificing potential time with somebody that already like feeds you and energizes you. But that being said, I think we kind of know when we're going to hang out, like when you're going to hang out with someone, and say even that moment does drain you, you're kind of learning in that aspect too. You're like, okay, that actually drained me too much than I was willing to give, but I probably absorbed something of that conversation or that energy. And
yeah, you always get something. You get something from everyone. Everybody you meet, there's something that you learn. Like just talking to you today, I'll learn a little bit more about myself, a little bit about you, and maybe use something in there to help myself, whether it's like how you deal with pressure, how you deal with stress, anxiety, which by the way, how do you do that? Are you someone who, do you get anxiety? Have you been depressed? And how do you deal with all that? Because we talk about mental health in the show a lot.
I feel like I get more stress than I get anxiety. And I think, and now I'm going to mess this up, but stress is feeling like you're not going to get everything done. And anxiety is worry that you're not going to be competent at it or something like that. There was a definition I heard recently.
Well, anxiety is always, to me, anxiety's the future. Depression is sort of the past, like you're dwelling on the past. Anxiety is you're thinking about the future and not being present. Mm-hmm. But stress, stress comes in many different ways. Many different ways,
yeah. I wish I metabolized that thing more, because it hit me and I was like, oh, and it helped me redefine, because I was calling something anxiety, but it didn't necessarily ring true. I was like, oh, it just feels like a low riding stress. And so being able to find out kind of what that is and how to deal with it differently than I think I would deal with anxiety, and sort of putting them together has been helpful. But, life can get quite overwhelming. I don't love spending a lot of time on a screen. And I think my job, wants definitely is a platform for that, like it is important to be on social media and things like that. So I do get a lot of stress around that kind of thing. But having sort of like dedicated time towards, meditation and nature is really important for me. Just like completely changes my entire way I move through the world. So once I miss those for a few too many times, like I start to get pretty squirrely, like, and not able to give what I want to other people. Like I'm not at my most service. And I think that's when and then I think, the further you go down that road, the kind of the depression can come in, right? Like there's the sort of voice of, you're not doing well enough. Like where the self-worth voice kind of comes in. Cause I don't think anyone's immune to that. I think it's how we deal with it when it comes up. Or what we say to ourselves. I talk to myself a lot, which has been really helpful. Something that I learned in therapy.
They say smart people do that.
Yeah. I talk to myself a lot.
I talk to myself a lot too. Like I'll just sit there and go, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, stop it. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily answer, but I do talk to myself.
I like when I get like the worry or the anxiety, I talk, especially when I notice it. I don't just go like, I have anxiety. I'm like, Emily, hey, it's okay. Like what, like today, that's it. That maybe is something that you're feeling, but like, let's do the first thing on the list. Okay. So what's on the list? Like, let's talk about that. And then be like, you're also crushing it. Like keep going, talking to myself really nicely is a big part of, I think, my 30s and something I didn't have in my 20s and has helped me immensely.
I was just going to say that I never really did this for many years. I was always, seeking validation or attention, and because I didn't get it when I was a kid. And so there comes a point where that has to stop because it's just eating you up.
Too much time.
Yeah, it's too much, and it's overthinking, and it's but I'm able now, I'm trying to step back on the outside looking in and say, hey, you did this, you did this, you did this, you have this is good. You should be proud of yourself. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be great. Like I will talk to myself like that. And I'll say, hey, this is okay. You're good enough. You have done some great things, and you should be grateful. And you should always, more importantly, acknowledge it instead of just going through the motions going, oh, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself. So are you able to go, hey, I just made this big freaking movie where I was the lead, Queen of the Ring, and I need, and I was a big success on this TV show Arrow, and I've done movies, and are you able to just? It's not like, look, you don't want to do it all the time because then that is ego, but are you able to do that?
Well, I am, because you know what I think sort of that voice is just a slightly bit different than what you say to yourself. I kind of say, like, I'm proud of you, Emily. Like, I don't tell myself, I think, what I should be anymore. And that really helped me. I don't take it or leave it. But for a while there, it was making me feel like worse to tell. I removed should from my vocabulary is pretty much what I did one day. I was like, I'm removing should because I'm tired of should. I don't know what I'm doing with this word. Like, it's not helping me. And when Queen of the Ring came out, I think I was at a place where this had finally clicked. So like last November, I've been in therapy for a few years, but something had clicked recently, and it's changed my entire life.
Tell me.
Pardon?
Tell me.
Tell me.
Tell us.
But I think we're all working towards this, right? It's just to be as open and kind as we can to ourselves as we can to other people. And I think that just like sets you up for success in a way. So for the first time ever, I was able to be proud of myself, but not just for this one event, but like who I am. And I have really great relationships around me, friends, partnerships, and family that I was able to lean on too, because they were showing me that, and they were showing me like how abundant it could be. Like my friend Lindsay Morgan came to, she's an actress. You might know her as well. She came to our premiere at the festival, and she was so proud of me, and she was so happy, and she was just abundant with it. Like it was never ending, and I was just like, you have given me so much today that makes me want to weep. Like that's such a gift. To
Those
be able
are
to
the
give
people you hold on to. The people that make you feel that way. The people that bring you up and not bring you down. And I think the older you get, you start to weed out the people that are bringing you down. Mm-hmm. And it's either jealousy or it's ego or it's just bad attitude. I've given so many chances, but some people I've had to weed out because it just isn't good for me. It's not good for my well-being, I always think too now from a side that this isn't always easy, is just being like that. It's also how they're treating themselves. And that I think is really hard because you don't really want to see anyone in pain. And that for me, ignites some sort of compassion, like even for the people you don't think that you want to have compassion for, but it only helps me lead my life. It just helps. Today's show is sponsored by strawberry.me. Listen, a lot of you out there, including Ryan and myself, we work hard and to get somewhere. That's the goal. But sometimes we get into a rut and we don't know what to do. We can talk to our friends, but they don't know anything. They're not experienced. They're not trained specialists to know what's going on. They're not career coaches. And career coaching is brilliant. I have learned so much from it. For instance, one of the things that I started doing was I got a whiteboard and scheduling my events for the week. I write a list of all the things I need to do. And my career coach says, just circle 3 of them and get those done for the week. And then off to the next 3. And things I want to do with my health. And there's so many little things that I've learned by career coaching that have helped me throughout the years. And I want to help you. So I know it works. And this just isn't generic advice. It's personalized, results-driven coaching experience that uncovers your hidden strengths. It gives you the strategies to stand out and move up faster. And most importantly, it keeps you accountable so you follow through and you make real progress.
At strawberry.me Career Coaching, we help professionals like you take the next step with confidence. We'll match you with a career coach who gets your challenges and goals.
Yes, it's so amazing once you sit down with someone and talk to someone who specializes in this, and they know your weaknesses. Believe it. They'll be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they're like, "Okay, well, let's try this. Let's try." And things that you're like, "Wow, why didn't I do this forever ago?" Your next opportunity is out there. Let's make sure you're ready for it. Get started today at strawberry.me/inside and claim your $50 credit. That's strawberry.me/inside shopify.me/inside, because your career success shouldn't wait. Inside of You is brought to you by Shopify. I use Shopify all the time for years now, like 6 years, both podcasts. If you have a small business, you're starting one, or a medium-sized, large business, you guys have to have Shopify. When you want to sell products, I don't know anybody else who does it. Maybe there are, but like Shopify for me has been so wonderful that I don't look at anyone else. Shopify, nobody does selling like Shopify, Ryan. Home of the number one checkout on the planet. You know, when I put products on the site, I'm not very good at figuring things out, and this was so easy. Thank God Shopify makes it easy, because you could look at, like, you could upload a picture of your product. You just take a picture and you upload it, and there it is. And you put a description, and I have a little scale that I bought for like $3, and you put your products on there, and it tells you how much. It's 10 ounces that I'm sending. It checks out your analytics, what's selling great, what's not selling so great. If you're running out of products, you just put the amount you have, and then all of a sudden I have 2. And it's just awesome. I love it. So look, if you're growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between.
Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%.
Meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going cha-ching. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/inside, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/inside to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/inside. When you auditioned for Queen of the Ring, you auditioned, right?
I didn't. No,
What?
I know it's kind of a wild story. Ash, our director, didn't really know my work, but saw me, on kind of a roster, and then looked at my work, and then, sent me the role. And I think there's a little bit of Mildred magic happening in that, because I didn't know anything about wrestling, and it was really an opportunity to not only showcase who she was, but it really gave me the opportunity to dive in to the thing that I love the most, which is understanding humanity through acting. And I'm just so honored to play her. Really.
Well, Queen of the Ring, I'll just give a little brief synopsis because I think it's pretty incredible. An extraordinary true life tale that follows Mildred Burke, the legendary professional wrestler and single mom who defied incredible odds to become the first $1 million female athlete and longest reigning champion at a time when the sport was banned across most of America. That's pretty fascinating. I had no idea. You learn something every day. I saw this trailer, and it was like, there was so much going on. It was so much action and, drama. And I can't wait to see this. I love documentaries. I love real life things, things that have happened, things that are inspirational. But I know you talked about this ad nauseum, but like preparing for this role, how much muscle did you gain?
I don't know it in pounds, but I was definitely quite jacked.
You were jacked, bro.
I'm jacked,
bro. You were jacked.
Jacked and stacked, baby. Yeah, no, it was wild. Like my whole body felt different.
How did you do it?
Okay. Well, it was a program of strict weights and pretty much a regimented diet. So high protein, higher carb than what I was eating, lower fat than what I was eating, and no cardio, and heavy weights with a sort of eccentric build. So like when you pop up in a squat, but you go down slow, and that helps tear the muscle up for it to rebuild. There was also really comes into the food. The food's a huge part of building muscle, not only just to like have the muscle build, but so that you can sort of rehab yourself in a way so that your proteins can be working and that kind of thing. So lots of chicken breast, and amino acids, for recovery, and omega-3s. Those were a lot of help. And I'm matcha powered. I drink a lot of matcha. That wasn't in the diet, but I drink.
It's got to be hard though. it's got to be hard while you're on set working these long hours to maintain that, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to the gym before set for an hour just to maintain while we were shooting. Kind of the muscle I had built up before we went to camera was really what held on. And then, to sort of keep it there, because with the stress of shooting, stress can kind of reduce, right? It can reduce your muscle and whatnot. So we really supplemented that with food, and that's kind of why the no cardio too. Like, we didn't want to put too much stress on my body during that. And we wanted to like make the muscles look big for camera. Like that was the goal aesthetically. Right. And with that, you get strong as a side effect, but our first goal was to look big for camera,
I've never
forward.
seen, I mean, I'm sure there has been, but I can't think of an actress that has built herself up that much to look like this character, to look like a wrestler, because most of the time, it's guys you see bulking up for roles and all this. But for a woman, it was.
I can't really think of anyone. Either.
It was incredible. It was incredible because I was like, oh, they're not just casting her and she's going in and making make believe. She did the work. She looks like a wrestler. That's what sells it. And all that hard work paid off, because when I watch it, I look for that instantly. I go, she's too scrawny to be a wrestler. I don't believe that she's that tough. And I believed it.
I'm like that too. My partner's an ultra runner, whole family's runners, right? And so like when there's someone running in a movie, he goes, they're not a runner. Like, and you can tell. And I'm like, you're right, they don't run. Like, because there's a lot of like, we talk, in TV, especially like our hero is like having a bad day, so they go for a run. And like, they don't run. Like,
that would be a nightmare for me. It'd be a nightmare for me to be a runner because I don't like running. So I'd be like, I don't like running. I don't want to run.
I had to cut running out for this, which was like a little difficult for my mindset, because I think if you run, it's not so much about for cardio burn, right? It's really for your mind. And that's where meditation came in. But, Michael B. Jordan in Creed was my body goals. I don't know the guy, but I was just like, that's my body goals.
Ripped.
Like, look at this guy. He's ripped, so just my inspiration.
What was your partner? What did he say as you're getting big? He's like, was it this? Was it A, hey, you look great. I love this. B, you're going to lose this though, right? You're going to go back to.
No, he would never. He's so supportive. He would just like, you're so strong. Like, look at the biceps, like it's so cool. I mean, it's awesome to be able to not only have that support, but, it goes hand in hand. He's an ultra marathon runner. I crew for him whenever he runs, hundreds of miles and that kind of thing. And so we're both really a team like that. And I think pushing yourself to those kind of limits are.
How many roids did you do?
None. I did not. But I do take creatine. I think creatine is really important. I think everyone should take it. I think it's a great supplement, and it can help you lift, I think, like 15% stronger once you have it on board. So not only is it bringing like water to your muscles for visualness, it's, so good for your brain, but
you got to be careful with it.
Helps you go stronger,
because it's bad for your liver too if you overdo it, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I think 5 grams a day, like, you shouldn't worry. Like your body. I think creatine's got a bad rap because people have abused it to get bigger so fast, and definitely like in the bulking world, that bulking wasn't necessarily the goal. Like, I was putting on muscle, but it was to stay healthy. My first and foremost thing was like to not lose myself, in a sense. If that works.
How demanding was it to do all these? Call them stunts, but like, these wrestling moves and all this. How long did you have to prepare for it?
Well, we had 3 weeks before camera of just wrestling rehearsal. So not acting rehearsal, nothing, just like 5 days a week wrestling, which it's not a lot, but it's enough to kind of get choreography down, especially when you're working with the pros. OVW, Al Snow, Camille Breckhouse is in the movie, Tony Storm. Like, these are pros. Like, I'm learning from the best at a rapid rate with such dedicated one-on-one training. So that is just like immensely, you can't put a price on that, but when we start talking about like the actual shooting schedule and shooting those matches, we're shooting nights mostly. Shooting those matches is pretty tough because you're shooting really long hours, and you're close, you're handheld, you're wide shot, you're everything all the time, and it's demanding. But once again, I've said this before, when something's your passion, you have a little bit of extra energy on board, right? Like you have a battery that is a part of following your bliss, right? And so I'm fueled by passion to find out who she was and do her justice, which just gives you that little bit of Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, well, I think, it shows just in who you are. I think it's innate, the passion you have. Even like when you started Arrow and you were supposed to go for one episode, right?
Yeah.
And they just saw something. Like you ignited the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, for Arrow, was it you auditioned for, of course?
Yes. Yeah.
How many auditions?
Just one, but it was just supposed to be one scene or the two scenes one day. And they don't usually cast Canadians. I think that they were open to casting a Canadian for this part because it was so small.
Why wouldn't they cast Canadians?
It's a Hollywood thing. They have a hard time casting Canadians that aren't, I guess, let's see, Steven's Canadian, but probably American represented, right? We're talking someone who lives in America. Stephen Amell. Definitely Stephen Amell, right? So it's not that Canadians aren't cast. It's just that it's virtually unheard of to go from a one episode Canadian to having a regular on a show. Like it's just unheard of. It was unheard of at the time, and I'm pretty sure it's still the same.
Was your agent like, I know it's just two scenes, but you never know. It could become something. Or it was just like, no, this is just one day of work.
That wasn't even on the table, right? Like we're talking a Canadian landscape that's like, hey, like go in and crush it, do your best. And then when they called back, it was like, I don't even think the character was possible recurring. Like it was like guest star or not even like, come on in, do a scene.
So you went in there, you did your two scenes. Did you feel like you did above and beyond? Did you feel like everybody was like, oh, I really killed it? Or did you just go home thinking, all right, yeah, well, we'll see.
I think I went in being like, I think I did a good job for casting. I think casting will bring it back. Like, that's what I thought. Like, I was like, it was good, but you kind of black out in there sometimes. Like, you're like, you have no idea. It wasn't self-tape world yet, right? Like you weren't even able to see what you did back. I've never seen the audition. Like, I would love to see the audition back, especially looking at myself at 20. Like, I would love to see what I threw out there. Like, like how brave and courageous I was at 20 to just kind of throw this character up like spaghetti at a wall, right? Like acting's a lot of like, hey, this is my take on it,
Yeah. I just wonder, it's like, so you do the scene, and when did someone call your agent and say, hey, we want her back?
I think it was, if I'm right, I think it's 3 episodes later, which is about, you probably get the call about 2 weeks later. So 3 weeks you go to camera. Something like that, a decent amount of time. And it was just one more episode, right? Just one more scene. And then it stayed like that for a season. It was like just one more episode, 2 more episodes. And then when season 2 rolled around, they're like, we want to sign her as a regular. And
what season was that?
Season 2.
Jeez, that's the way to do it. Get in early. But like, also you think, okay, I'm Canadian, so they're not going to take me seriously as, wow, I got the role. Okay. And then then they keep bringing you back. And it's just you had to be blown away by what was happening.
I felt really lucky. I mean, I was young. I was living a dream that I had for so long. I was finally making money. I could pay rent. I could feed my dog.
That bad? Like, you were that bad?
No, I was working at a dog daycare shop, right? Like my boss was like, you have to quit. You're no longer here. Like every week you're like, I have to leave for my dream. So you have to quit. And that's kind of where it started.
Do you ever go back and go back to that place and say hi?
She's not there anymore, but I've seen her over the years, and I'm always thanking her because she let me like leave for auditions, like literally close down shop. I'll be like, I have an audition at noon tomorrow. She's like, okay, we'll close it for an hour and then come back.
That is amazing. I mean, you're working at a dog care center?
It was dog daycare, but the one I could close was like the dog apparel food shop. So I'd open up the dog daycare in the morning, it was at 6 a.m. and like 40 dogs would rush in like at the crack of dawn. And then someone else would take over. And then I would go to the dog apparel shop and open that at 10.
You're like the Rocky of women. You know, you're working at this stuff. He's like, hey, all right, look, we're gonna pet the
Yeah.
dogs, we're gonna feed
I'll
the
still
dogs,
you know,
we're gonna take care
tell
of
him
the
him and I are
dogs. It's like,
related.
hey, I got a call back. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. It's like 1 in a million. You know, I don't. I think that's really cool. Now, the big question is, were they saying we're still gonna pay you Canadian?
100, yeah.
And
yeah, it was in hindsight, you know, not a great contract. But as a Canadian, as someone in their 20s, like I wasn't going to say no. It was sort of, I had my dream in my grasp, you know, and I still, you know, still was leaving it. I think as the years went on, things got a little crazy, but, you know, still so grateful for not only Arrow, but like for Felicity. I'm really proud of who Felicity was. And I think she got a little lost in the later seasons. And I wish I could have changed that for her, but I wasn't a writer. So
did they ever? So did you speak your mind on what you thought should happen and what you want, and how did they react?
I did, but I think I'd be better at it now. I think I'd be clearer now. So part of it is me not being as clear as I want to be and feeling rushed. I think, you know, TV's fast and it's rushed and it's an impossible task. I think the showrunners are doing the best thing that they can when you're doing a show that's 23 episodes a season. I'm not even sure if this happens anymore, but the way the machine of Arrow was working, like 23 episodes a season, 10 and a half months of the year, like it's a wild task, you know, and trying to keep up. Like those, we're getting revisions of episodes and things like that. We were doing, I don't know, sometimes like 13 pages a day. Like, you know, it's crazy.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. And like, you know, well, I did it. You know, we did 22, 23 episodes a year, but I couldn't imagine. Like, I remember thinking some things like, maybe I should bring this up. And I'm like, no, it's just going to make things more difficult. I just want to get through the days.
Yeah.
You're not writing, you know, Shakespeare here. Let's just freaking act, hit your mark. And, you know, hopefully I just thought I'm in good hands. I'm not going to change things much. So, you know,
I think my fight did burn out. You know, I think I was like you to a certain point. It was like, okay, let's get the thing done. But then at that point, like I was really sacrificing my happiness of being an actor. Like I was like, I don't really feel like a collaborator anymore. I don't feel like an artist anymore. I don't feel like I'm serving this project, the fans, this character as much as I think allows. And that really dampened my light for a while. And I don't think that's really anybody particular fault per se, but was definitely a lesson that I learned that I think moving forward is probably why it won't happen again.
Yeah. How hard is it to come in to do 2 scenes in the beginning and you're in an established show with all these people around you? You're working at this dog center. I keep forgetting the terminology, but you know what I mean? Like to go on, because it's got to be, I always feel bad for guest stars because we all know what we're doing in a way. We know everybody, it's familiarity. And now it's I
have a different thought.
Go ahead.
I think at the time I didn't think about it a whole lot because they were new, right? I came in episode 3 of season 1. But what I also had on board is that I was 20. So like I was young. Like I was like, I'm green, I'm young, I'm naive. Tell me where to be. These are my ideas. Now I come with way more ideas, but I'd always make sure I had a couple. You know, I'm kind of an ideas person. I think that's my value. And I think that I had that on my side. So I was just like a sponge. Like Arrow made me into a machine in terms of how to shoot things. Like it really served me on like how things work, not only on set, but like TV, the writing, the business. I was welcomed into so many doors, you know. Greg Berlanti let me sit in the writer's room, let me listen to things. Like I was just hungry for things. And that taught me a lot. And now, I mean, I haven't been on a show in a while, but I look at guest stars and I'm like, you got the best freaking job. Like you get to come in, you get to be the wild card, which probably means in an established show, you actually get to have way more fun, say better things. That's what I think. And like, you get to throw everything out of whack. Like walking down your regular day life, you're not going, I'm going to throw everything out of whack. Like those actors get to go in there and be like, "Papa," you know, I think that's
shit up.
So fuck shit up. Like, I think that's so fun. So any guest star roles want to come my way, please send them. I love guest stars.
Were you surprised at, you know, here you are anonymity and going from anonymity to this popular show and everyone noticing you and you becoming one of the most popular characters on the show? Was that a shock to you? Was it something as a child you'd always dreamed of? Like, do you like the attention? B, what was it like to be noticed?
Yeah. Well, I think, coinciding with that time, I talked about sort of like dimming how my light got dimmed. Like it really was coming a lot with the attention as well. And I wasn't sure how to handle it. I didn't have there was definitely anxiety over that. I think anonymity is such a privilege. And I think I didn't have the tools and how to like stay myself around that. I don't think I have the innate thing to have like a big, I don't know, bravado and ego on the others, but I could see that being a way to handle it as well, right? Like I just got smaller. And I could still have really fun with it on the surface, but I don't think I was myself for a while. And I think maybe that's part of your 20s and was just part of my particular 20s, like what a unique experience. But, now as this film takes off and whatnot, and there's billboards of my face all over Hollywood, there's a part of me that's just kind of like, oh, there's the new step of anonymity. Like, how are we going to deal with that this time? And that's something that I'm discovering right now, because I think it's wild and it's a part of the dream, but it's also a little scary. It's like, okay, what does this mean? And how do we live an authentic life and still be able to give, I guess, like give all of us what we want, most of my interactions with people when anonymity isn't on the table, when you're recognized and that kind of thing, have been really good, but that's not always going to be the case. And we'll just, we'll try to take it as it comes.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Traditional in-person therapy, Ryan, can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. But with BetterHelp Online Therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. Seriously, it's the best investment you can make. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and on time.
Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress.
Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. Therapy from BetterHelp is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too.
You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time.
Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/inside to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. Didn't your mom try to help you with this stuff, being that she's a psychotherapist?
Yeah, I mean, she's great. Her and
what is a psychotherapist? Is it just a therapist? Like what?
She has a PhD in psychology. She's a psychotherapist. So I think maybe it's more of a Canadian term, actually. So psychotherapy would be psychology and therapist. So like you can, I don't know. I guess maybe that's just a definition we use. Probably like EU and Canada uses it.
Did she try to help you with some of her skills?
Yeah, absolutely. She's really big into hypnosis, which is good for people with phobias or addictions and anxiety and that kind of thing. So she led me towards like meditation and stuff like that. As a kid, your mom being a shrink wasn't fun. I'd be like, stop shrinking me. Like that's literally what I would say to her. But, she's become and has been my best friend for, my entire life. And I wouldn't be who I am without her. And I have my own therapist who has saved my life, I think. And I'm just really grateful that those rich relationships have surrounded me. I think that that's so much a part of who I am, and so grateful that, especially during Arrow, when things were really tough, that is a basis that I had that was kind of unconditional. Even when I didn't realize it was there, even when I wasn't using it to its full potential.
Was the set always fun? Was it ever tough? Were there personality clashes? What was it like being on that set for the most part? Was it
pretty good? Yeah. I mean, for me, I can only speak from my experience, but like, I loved going to work. I was able to bring my dog, which is a big part of it. And, the sets were really cool. Our crew was amazing. I worked with these people for 7 years. And so you become like a family, and family has its troubles, definitely.
Sure.
But I think with hindsight, I think I've worked through some of the stuff in therapy that I maybe wasn't as proud of as I wanted to be at the time, the growing pains, I guess. But now when I look back on it, I think of a lot of the stuff that sort of made my career, informed me who I am as an actor, what I want, what I'll accept, especially as a woman on set, the ability to say no, the ability to come in with ideas, to be excited, how as a leading actor, how as like a leading lady, like you really do help set the tone. I think every department has a lead, director, camera, sound, every department has a lead, and that leader sets the tone. And if you can all get together and hold on to that as collaboration, you're going to have a great project, because films, TV, storytelling is a collaborative project. I don't get to go and do what I do without 250 people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not acting today because there's not another person here to do it with, right?
And I think you're right about how important leadership is for the morale of a movie or a show. And when I did this show in Vancouver for a couple of years, and I was the lead and executive producer, and the first thing I said was, I want everybody from every department out here before we started filming. And I just said, I don't know about you guys, but I want to have as much fun as possible. I want to laugh every day. I want us to become a family. I want this to be a great experience for everyone. Obviously, let's all work really hard, but have a good time doing it. And I set that tone. And
love it.
For the most part, that show was just, everyone was having fun. I would say to the DP or the camera operator, I'd say, "Hey, was that funny, or do you think it's better when I turn around and then whip my head around?" He goes, "Oh, that was funny. Yeah, I do that." I go, yeah. I love that. I hate when I've worked with some people that are just really intense and it's all work and it's not fun. And my therapist told me, whenever you do a job for you, now this is for me, he says, you need an element of fun. You should not be taking a role unless you see an element of fun. Like, you could have fun with this. You could do something with this, and if you're not going to enjoy it, if you're already going, don't do it.
I'm with them.
And so, I'm fortunate enough to do that. So, to be that picky, but I think that's important in life. A lot of people have real jobs and don't really love their jobs, and it sucks. And it's, having the luxury of doing something that you love is rare. It's rare.
It definitely is. And I think it totally is. And I think that, wherever we are, especially say the day sucks, say work sucks, the people that you're around, if you can open yourself up to talking to like one person as a stranger, like sometimes
changes
that's enough.
Everything.
Like, if things are really busy and I have to go do say there's like a bunch of press, there's appointments, there's everything, you end up sitting somewhere with a stranger, and sometimes just talking to that person, destroys my concept of time, like takes the pressure out of the whole day. And you really have to be open to that. And it's a practice. I really do think, but I think it helps you connect. You're connecting to someone else. And I think that you can get that anywhere, no matter where you are, who you are, you can connect to somebody else, and that can change your day.
I love that you did a Nickelback video. It was the first thing you did. And by the way, I saw the documentary on Nickelback. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It's great. I have such a new respect for them. And
the most hated band in the world.
And it's so stupid. It's like they had some great songs, and I liked them. And I saw the video, and you just were so happy. And, it was your first time on film.
Yeah.
Were you nervous, or was it just fun?
I think I was nervous. I think my family had to change a family vacation, like change the flight because of it, if I remember correctly. And it was my first real paycheck. I think it was like 2,000 Canadian dollars or something.
Ooh.
Like, it was big. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
$2,000.
I think I showed my dad, and he's like, okay, you can pay us back now. It's like, hey. Classic parenting. But I think I was just so bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Like when I look at that video, like I just kind of I don't see a character. I really do see myself in that. Like when I look at Queen of the Ring, that's a character. Sometimes, 50%, maybe 80% of Felicity, I'm like, that's a character. So much of her seeped into me that it's hard to know because we were in our formative years together.
Yeah.
But I look at the Nickelback music video and how like, I'm so grateful that it was a music video. I don't know. There's something sweet about it. The fact that it's Nickelback, like so drastically Canadian, like you can't get like more than that. Yeah, it was funny. The audition process was, okay, stare at the X on the wall. You really like the X. You have a really deep connection with the X. Okay, and now the X is disappearing and you're never going to see the X again. That was the audition.
There's your direction.
I was like, oh my God, this is like so emotional. Like
Was the band cool? Did you meet the band? Like,
I didn't meet the band. I've never met them. I don't even know if they know they would even know that I'm in their music video.
if you ever meet them though, you can go, I'm the lead girl in your video.
I'm never going to be alone. Never gonna be alone.
You could sing too. Jeez. How many languages do you speak?
1 1/4.
You don't speak French?
Un petit peu. Yeah, I speak French enough to get by in France. And I've worked with the French. I worked with Studio Canal, and that was really great because you could just get to speak French all the time, which was really nice. But hard when I'm not around it. My dad's very good with language. I can read a lot more languages than I can speak them. I don't know. I don't know why. Just good with languages. Yeah.
I know certain words in a lot of languages.
That's good.
Like, sprechen Sie etwas Deutsch, können Sie lesen und schreiben, oder sind Sie ein Einbauernjunge mit nur einem einfachen Namen? Ich mag dich.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You speak German when you're in Germany? Is that right?
I guess so, but I don't know. If they called you, Berlanti said, hey, we're doing Arrow movie or 6 episodes, would you do it in a heartbeat?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
I want to give Felicity her flowers, to be honest. I think that I'm so grateful for the fandom, but there's things that like I wish that Felicity stood up for more, and I like think that she did. She just did it off screen, and I love Felicity. I'm not doing it for Arrow or really the fans. I'd be doing it for Felicity, and then everybody else gets it just as the side effect.
I love that. That's cool. It's something you don't hear.
I love her, and
I love that you love the character. I can't say I love Lex Luthor. I was like,
yeah, well, I mean, different.
Yeah, it's just different. I loved creating a character, but anyway, this is called Shit Talking with Emily Bett Rickards. And is that how do you say? I knew I was going to say Rickards, but you on your Instagram it's M Betts.
Yeah, M Bett. I know. Before I was more well known, I should have just grabbed Emily Bett Rickards. I didn't even, when you're a kid and you're creating your Instagram, you're like, yeah, M Bett.
Do you like to be called Em or Emily?
Both. Yeah, both.
All right, this is called Shit Talking.
Shit Talking.
These are the top tier patrons who are asking questions. Patreon.com/Insidy. If you want to join and support the show, we could use your help. Little Lisa says, what is your best quality according to yourself?
I feel like I'm probably to a fault able to understand someone's reason for doing things.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it's not like I play devil's advocate, but I think that comes from an actor's perspective. And if you have to play a villain, I'm not saying I justify them. I'm just going, oh, that's how they got there.
All right. And that's interesting.
My therapist was like, you can be mad at them, right?
Yeah. In real life, it's a little different. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, I can understand why they're an asshole.
Yeah. I know why you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured out why you're an asshole.
Don G, outside of acting, what are you passionate about or just what brings you joy?
Well, I am passionate about health and nutrition. I do think it brings me joy, but I don't think it's like the most joyful thing in my life. I am really, I love creating things. Like I like things that make me bounce off the rocker. Like I like writing. I love reading. I read like science fiction and fantasy. Like I love that stuff. Like it just, like I want to talk to somebody so badly about this book. I don't know anyone who's read Will of the Many. And it's just like, I've told my therapist to read it. I've told my writing mentor to read it. I've told like every friend, I'm like, can somebody please read this book that I know I could talk to her about it? And my dog is like this. She's just like my entire.
What's your dog's name?
Ophelia. She's very
Ophelia. I want to take you by the hand and make you understand, Ophelia.
Oh, she went to, you have such a beautiful voice.
Cute. Oh my gosh. Look at that little
She's 13 and a half. She was there for all of Arrow.
Aww.
I know.
Raj says, tell me about a time you rebelled against an authority figure.
Well, I went to a private school when I was a kid, which was not necessarily where I fit in.
So you rebelled.
And we had every rule. But one of the things is that our uniforms were very gendered based, and I wanted to wear the pants that the guys got to wear. And so now they'd probably allow it, but back then that was not cool. I also pierced my ears and I would hide it. And just like skirt was too short when you were wearing it. And like just anything that I could do, I tried.
Getting a tattoo. How many tats you got?
I have a few, and most of them I regret. So, but
what's the biggest one you regret?
I have one actually I'm removing. It was just too heavy-handed, and I feel like it takes up energy and space. But there's something about I don't dislike all my tattoos, or I don't dislike any of the other ones. But there's something to be said now that I think when I want to transform into the characters that I see myself playing. I used to think it would ground me, especially during Arrow. I got a lot of them during Arrow. I used to think like, oh, this is who I am. Like this at least puts me when I'm out of character, I'll remember. But now I think I'm softer and I just kind of want the languidness of it all. And so I don't get them anymore.
Yeah. I was surprised to see tattoos because again, I don't know you, but I look at you and I'm like, oh, she's, I don't want to say soft, but she's like she's just easy. Like she doesn't have a heart. Oh, look at the tat. She's got an edge to her.
An edge. But the ones that I love, like the line is for my grandma and this tree was for home. And those two, especially when I'm traveling a lot and working, when I do yoga and you look up, like they're the ones that I see. And they just like, there is still like, there's so much specialness to them that really brings me home.
I love that. Sarah G, how did you handle all the technobabble word salad in Arrow?
I mean, I found that to be really fun. That was part of my, that's part of the thing that ignited me. I think I liked finding her rhythm and her speed. So that was just fun for me. And then sometimes understanding it was a little hard because I think to be believable, you have to actually know what you're saying. So there's some stuff that always befuddled me, but I did my best.
What's next? Anything are you just promoting Queen of the Ring right now and just kind of letting go?
Promoting Queen of the Ring is where we go at the moment. I'm excited to, meet the next character though. I am. Yeah.
Where can we see Queen of the Ring?
It's in theaters all over America right
Theaters now. All over America now. And then also then it will be on streamers, right?
Yeah, I guess that's where it goes next. It might actually come to Canada theatrically next. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Great reviews too. A lot of reviews. I saw that. That was good. That's good. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels like what Mildred would have wanted. And I think the story is special and it's glitzy and it's glammy. You got to go see it in theaters. I mean, it's out in LA. Definitely go see it. It's just worth it for it is a theater movie. It's big. It's got a big scope, a lot of actors in there that are just geniuses at what they do.
How long is the movie?
2 hours.
Oh, good. See, I have like I hate when people make 2.5, 3 hour, 3.5, like The Brutalist, 3.5 hours. I'm sure it's a good movie. I'm not seeing it. I can't last 3.5 hours. 2 hours is my limit.
On that. I think our movie, Ash will say this too. He's like, our movie could be shorter, but like, who are you going to cut at this point? I think there's an extra hour of footage that's not in the movie. There's just, when you see it, you'll notice that every character was based on a real person. Everyone deserves their own film. And because all their stories are so rich and influenced how we live today. And I think that is really hard to cut out of a movie when it's a part of the story you're telling. So
were you able to meet any of Mildred's relatives?
Descendants. Yeah. Great granddaughters who have just make me weep and they're so happy with the story and how their grandmother was remembered. And I met one of her granddaughters, Wendy, at the Newport Festival premiere. And the one thing that hit me was like, yeah, man, like I wish I had something like this of my grandmother. Like, how cool would that be? Like, that was the first thing I thought. It was like, and then it also made me realize how like I never actually knew Mildred, but I feel like I did because here I have like flesh and blood who's hugged her and was taught by her. And it's just so special. We're so grateful. And I'm lucky I'm in a position that gets to not only absorb this story, but can share it with a greater audience, because I think her story deserves to be known.
Well, I can't wait to see it. It really.
Thanks. Go see it. Let me know.
I can't wait. No, seriously, this is up my alley, and I think the trailer's great. You look great. I believe you. So cool. This is I'm already in.
Yay! That's the goal.
Queen of the Ring. Go see this movie, and also your publicist, Caitlin. Give her your email to give me so I could send you the script.
I would love that. Thank you for being open to sending it. I can't wait to read it.
This has been an absolute joy. You're so cool, and I'm so happy for you, and you deserve all the success and continued success and happiness. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so nice to chat with you. My gosh. Thanks for saying hi in Florida too. I was like, wow, today is busy. It was such a cool con.
So busy. Do you love it? Do you love the cons? Do you love the fans? Do you ever get emotional with fans?
I used to not. But my therapist really helped me out this year and pretty much just told me to give the people what they want as opposed to resisting it. And it gave me so much more energy.
Good for you.
I don't know. I feel like I was protecting something for a while. And now I think I just feel like able to give. And I don't know that I was telling my friend Lindsay about this too. And I was like, I hope that this hits because it's just changed the way I think about them now. And, the cons, changed the way I think about the cons. And it's just made interactions. I just feel like a better person.
Yeah, I feel like if
that makes sense.
My approach is it's not about me. It's about them. I want
Totally.
I want them to have as much, no matter how I'm feeling, they're here to see you. You give them what they want.
100%. And so, yeah.
And they make me happy. And people make me happy. When people are happy, I'm happy. I've always been that kind of person where if I'm not having a great time, as long as my friends are all having fun, I'm having fun. I like it. I do. I'm always wanting everybody else to. If everyone's not having a good time, then it bothers me.
You find yourself in the position to figure out how they can have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When I was doing stand up, I was like, if one person isn't laughing, I'm destroyed.
Oh no!
Everybody else is laughing, and I'm like, that guy back there he hates me.
I listened to, I can't remember what podcast Patton Oswalt was on, but he was talking about how he just fails all the time. And he goes up and does stand up. And then he's just like, yeah. And he's like, I fail all the time. And he's like, I just go back and do it again.
Good for him. Good for him. I don't like failing miserably in front of people. I have, but
I definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I could talk to you for hours and we'll do it again next sometime. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. It was awesome. It was awesome hearing her story. She's so positive.
Those Canadians.
Canadians, man. Canadians. That was really fun. It was fun talking to her. It didn't. After a while, you forget you're on Zoom. It just felt like we were having a conversation.
I know, it was easy.
And by the way, your birthday's coming up.
My birthday is coming up.
It is April.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing
a week from this air date.
I'm guessing it's April. It's not the 5th.
It's not the 5th. No.
It's close.
Mm-hmm.
It's right around there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little before.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's 7th.
No, it's a little after.
9th.
A little after.
11th.
Little after.
12th?
Yeah.
You're April 12th?
Mm-hmm.
I bet I have it in my calendar.
Maybe.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Well,
July 11.
Happy early birthday.
I don't know. July 11.
Yeah. Well, that's easy. 7/11. But you're 4/12.
Yeah.
Well, look, I hope everybody's doing well and you're taking care of yourself. That's the most important thing. I read so much about this stuff, how we just neglect ourselves and always try to please people. I'm a people pleaser. And I saw this thing online about, you don't always have to respond right away to people. You don't have to be always available to people. You don't always have to be. And I'm always, available. So I was like, I got a text this morning. I was like, I'm not answering that right now. I'm going to give it at least 2 minutes. I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, we really appreciate you. Thanks for watching the podcast. And we're going to do a shout out to all the patrons, the top tiers and the grand tiers who make this podcast possible. If you want to become a top tier or grand tier, there's so many perks. And we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. One of the perks of being a grand tier is You get a poster that no one has that's designed for you, signed by me and Tom. You get to Zoom some episodes with us and talk to us. It's really cool. It's really cool when you get a special gift in a box, I guess you could say, in your box.
Get a gift in a box.
A bonus gift. A gift in the box. All right, top tiers. We're going to do it right now. Here they are in no particular order. They're all fantastic. Nancy D, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Brian H, Niko P, Rob L, Jason Dreamweaver, great seeing you in Cleveland. Sophie M, Raj C, Jennifer N, Stacey L, Jamal F, Janelle B, Mike and L Dan Supremo.
99 more, Santiago M, Maddie S, Kendrick F, Belinda N, Dave Hull, Brad D, Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom N, Talia M, Betsy D, Rhiannon C,
Michelle A, Jeremy C, Eugene and Yulia, Mel S, Eric H, Oracle, Amanda R, William K, Kevin E, Jor L, Jam and J, Leanne J, Luna R, Jules M, just saw Jules, hi Jules, Jessica B, Kaylee J, Charlene A, Marion Louise L,
Romeo the Band, Frank B, Jen parentheses?
Yeah, it could be Talkerman.
Oh.
Maybe not. Maybe just Jen half a parenthesis.
Jen
Talkerman. She's
Jen beginning of a secret thought.
Yes.
April R, Randy S, Claudia.
Hello.
Rachel D, Nick W, Stephanie Evan.
Stefan.
Charlene A, Don G.
Jenny B76, Tina E, NG, Tracy, Keith B, Heather and Greg, or
Grother.
Yes, LEK, Ben B, Pierre C, Sultan, Ingrid C, Dave T, Dave L, Jeff G, Kareem H, Kareem, what's up? Brian B. Hey, did we say Brian H? Brian Hinnenkamp still with us?
Yeah, Brian H, number 4.
He wouldn't leave me.
Oh.
Yeah, we said Hinnenkamp. He wouldn't leave me. Yukiko's still here, for God's sakes. You're all still here. This is a damn treat. That's what it is. We really appreciate you. Thank you for joining Patreon and supporting this podcast. We've got some great ones coming up. I really dug deep, and there's some that you're going to be just, but holy crap, if they happen. So I don't want to, but I think they're going to happen. Should I say, or just surprise?
Surprise.
All right, let's wait for the surprise. I love you. From the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Hasem here too.
Yeah, he's there. He's right there. If you missed him.
Yep.
A little wave to the camera. We love you. Have an awesome week. And most importantly, Ryan?
Be good to yourself.
Be good to yourself. Be good to yourself, damn it. All right, we'll see you next week.